All right, so moving along on this camera box, I needed to make the actual mounts for holding the camera, aka an iPhone. And I did something a little bit different, both in filming this and how I generally sketch. So I did it offline just so I could work through the work process and be kind of more comfortable, not trying to talk about my ideas during the process. So I started out by sketching up the iPhone that I was using, which is an iPhone 16, making sure that I took note of all the dimensions and that I needed to pay attention to. So, width, height, thickness, length, buttons, as well as the camera clearance. So you can see I made the power button here, but the volume up, down, and silence button I just made as one because I needed to know the dimensions and the placement, but generally just stay clear of them. And then I fully sketched out the camera here. So this gave me an iPhone that I could work with. And then I dragged it into this sheet. I actually did it over here as a separate model and then added it into this sheet as a component. Then heading up to the top here, I can actually right click and go to new component and actually start a new component. And that's what I did here for the next two components, which is the back mount and the front mount. And basically working around the iPhone that I now had digital dimensions of, I started to draw my objects using very, very similar dimensions to what I had done for both the upper slider mounts and the corners. So 50 thousandths wall thickness, 425 for the dowel rod sliders, somewhere between 25 and 40 for these, depending on how much engagement. I think we went 30 on these two, and then kind of just blending all the surfaces together to try to make something that both is visually appealing and looks somewhat strong just by my visual intuition. And then we added these little fins that look like, Chrysler fins or whatnot on the top. And the idea for these fins was that a rubber band could be placed between them. They ended up not being big enough during the 3D print because I've already 3D printed these parts and moved on. I'm making this video so we can conclude this project and move on to the next steps of actually using this project for our next projects. But we did find there was enough friction between these mounts and the dowels that I didn't even need anything to physically hold the phone in place. There's enough engagement under the phone by these, and these are strong enough that the phone sits in there really nice and nothing moves around. You're not jostling it or anything. You're just kind of using it to suspend the phone so that you can do filming and pictures and whatnot. So here's the project, and there's kind of how the camera holders were done. So I was able to create that sketch and move forward, making clearance, and then add these end caps in here. And you noticed I went into the model when I created that so that I got one piece instead of two pieces here. So with that, I'm going to take and show you the completed cube in an image, and I think we'll conclude the video right there. To like, share, and subscribe. As always, enjoy the image and have a good night.